Hey YouTube, I'm Sergeant Indy. Welcome back to my turn-based strategy tutorial for GameMaker Studio. This video, we're going to implement our melee attacks, as well as a couple of special abilities related to attacking. Brace yourselves, because this is going to be a long video and it's pretty much all code, so grab yourselves a drink, because we're going to be at this for a while. Let's start by creating a script. We'll call this, we've got ranged attack range, so this is going to be melee attack range. Okay, so we're going to have a argument we're passing in here. So argument 0, and that's going to equal the actor we're doing this range calculation for. Actor equals argument 0. Put it in a variable so we can fiddle with it easily and cleanly within the code. And then we want to go through all of the actors. So with oActor, all of the actors themselves. If army doesn't equal other.actor.army, so if they're on the other side, and now we need to check to see if they're in melee range. And how we're going to do that is just by comparing our grid X and grid Y variables with theirs. So let's go temp X equals abs. And that's, I'll explain that in just a second. Hold on. Grid X minus other.actor.grid X. And we'll do temp Y equals abs grid Y minus other.actor.grid Y. Okay, so abs will return the absolute value. So if this is -1, it'll just return 1. And if it's +1, it'll return 1, etc. It just cuts the negative sign off, and that's what we want. So, and now if the temp X is less than or equal to 1, and the temp Y is less than or equal to 1, okay, so we're going to get their grid X and the actor we called for, its grid X and grid Y. And if that temp X, that absolute value, is less than or equal to 1, and its temp Y is less than or equal to 1, that means we're right next to him. We're adjacent to it. It's not far away, and we can hit him with a sword, or an axe, or whatever it is we're going to do. So if all that's true, we're going to do map grid X, grid Y, dot attack node equals true, so we can attack this node, and map grid X, grid Y, dot color equals C_red. So pretty basic so far. This is going to get a lot more complicated later, but this will allow us to, and actually I want these to have spaces in them so I can get back to coding in between them later. Sorry about that. But yeah, this will just color it, and it will allow us to attack that node. Really basic version of what's to come. Green check out of here. Now, obviously, we've created this new script. We need to call it somewhere. So we're going to go into our OGame step event. And where are we going? Okay. So you see in here in the case ready, where we've got the switch current actor attack type case ranged. Well, we need a case for melee as well. So case melee, break, and we'll do melee attack range and current actor. Okay, so that's all we need to do there. We also need to call this somewhere else, though, because if you'll recall, when our actors reach at the end of their path, if they can act, if they've got an action left, they also call this there. So let's green check out of here. Let's open up our actor, end of path, and yep, right in here we got this case ranged. We want to case melee break and melee attack range, and then our own ID. Okay, just like that. Green check, green check. We should be able to run the game now and see our progress, which is good. It's a lot better than our movement range video where we had to code for like a half hour straight before we could see anything happen. So just attack or move around with whoever you can until we can get to somebody who we can get in range and attack in the same round. A little bit longer here. Here we go. standing. We can move all the way down to this guy, and then, well, it lit up and attacked, but we can't actually attack yet. Not like I right-clicked and nothing happened. So we need to make that happen. The actual attack needs to take place. So let's close out of here, but we know it's working. He could move there. All the squares were lit up red. It's working. So let's close this out, and let's hit into our cursor step event. Let's get started on making the actual attack happen. So currently we want to do a little bit of cleanup. Well, actually, no, we don't want to do any cleanup yet. Let's go down. So right now in here, we've got the selector actor equals no one, and the hover node is an attack node. We need another switch. So switch selected actor dot attack type. Open that up, and then we want case ranged colon, and all of this is obviously going to be in that, what we did last video. Put a break at the end of that. Oops. Would help if I'm paying attention to what I'm doing. Break. Okay, and we're also going to need, to close that squiggly off from here, obviously. And so case melee colon and break. Okay, so now in here, we need to do essentially the same thing. So selected actor dot can act equals false. Selected actor dot actions minus equals 1. Selected actor dot attack target equals hover node dot occupant, and selected actor dot state equals begin attack. Oops, attack. And selected actor dot attack. We got to set an attack timer for them. I'm going to go with 10 again. That sounds good. And we need to clear our selected actor equals no one, and then wipe nodes. So pretty much, actually, I guess we could have just copied and pasted all that straight over. I wasted a bunch of time in what's already going to be a long video. Sorry about that. Green check out of here, and we need to go into our actor step event. And we need to make that ready to do attacking as well. So, okay, so currently in here we've got this case attack, right? And we make the attack roll, and all this stuff is in the ranged case. But really, that's kind of redundant, because all of this stuff needs to be done whether it's a melee attack or a ranged attack. So let's start by grabbing all of this stuff, and we'll hit Control X to get rid of it. Or not get rid of it, to cut it. So it'll end up in memory, and we can Control V to paste it here. And then we'll need to do a Shift tab to get it back online. So whether it's a melee or a range attack, we still want to make an attack roll. We still want to determine if it's a crit or a miss, and we still want to roll our damage. And we've got our case ranged here. Below our case ranged, right below the break, we'll do case melee. And we're going to do a whole bunch of stuff in here. So with our ranged attack, we create a ranged attack object like we made last video. And then it ends up going to the target, and it makes all of our biff effect, and it pops up the damage text. It does all of that for us. In Melee, we're not going to have that object. So we need to do all of this stuff manually in here. So well, let's give myself a little bit of room to work. Get this right in the center of the screen again. Sorry about that. Got a lot of stuff to cover today. I'm a little flustered, I suppose. So if attack status doesn't equal a miss, so if it's a hit or a crit, we want to create our biff effect objects. So for II equals 0, II less than 6, and then II plus equals 1. I hit the paren. I guess I didn't hit it hard enough. Okay, so with instance create, and you guys know what's coming here. It's going to be attack target plus, x plus 16, attack target dot y plus 16, biff. This guy again. We need 2 parens at the end of that, not 1. There we go. My finger's not cooperating today either. So direction, because remember, we need to give it a direction, we need to give it a speed, we need to give it a scale, and then we need to throttle back its image speed a little bit, and we need to change its color if it's a crit. So direction equals I random 360. So any direction in the circle. Speed equals choose 2 or 3. Scale equals choose 2 or 3. And actually, I think we want the speed. That's 2 to 4. Sorry about that. Doesn't really matter. I just kind of want it to be uniform between our ranged and melee attacks. Image speed equals 0.5. The 0 is not really important there. You can skip that if you want. And then if other dot attack status equals crit, then we need to make its color equal C underscore yellow. Okay, so when we're done with making all of those biffs, so under helps to highlight your squigglies so you can see where it's at. When we're done with this mess, we need to do something else. We need to make the target shake if it's hit. And that's something we obviously still want to do within the if not miss block. So if attack status is equal to crit, then we want to, oops, that's a brace, not a squiggly. Attack target dot shake equals 8. Attack target, oops, target dot shake mag equals 8, 8. And then else, so if it's just a hit, not a crit, we want half of that. So attack target dot shake equals 4. Attack target dot shake mag equals 4. Okay, so we also need to create our damage text now. So we're going to do that with instance create. I remember that we want that kind of above where the right shoulder would be, so top right-ish corner of the sprite. So that's attack target dot x plus 28. Attack target dot y plus 2. Damage text. 2 end parens and a squiggly. And then so we need to give it its text. So that's text equals, and we want a negative, plus string other dot temp damage, which remember is what we calculated for damage way up ahead. My scroll bar feels so slow. Anyway, you guys know what we did up there. I don't need to refresh that much. But we need to set a ground variable so it pops up and then back down where it started. So ground equals y. And then if it's a crit, we want it to use the crit font. So if other dot attack status equals crit, then we want font equals f crit. Okay, now kind of a little spacing there. So that's in our width for creating that, and then we need here. So if it's not a miss, if it's a hit or a crit, we do all of this. If it's a miss, we need to create our damage text to say miss. So else with instance create, and that's going to be the same stuff we did before. So attack target dot x plus 28. Attack target dot y plus 2. Damage text. And then we just give it the text of miss, and we set the ground equals y. And make sure this else, so go ahead and click that squiggly, and that squiggly should come at the end of the if the attack status does not equal miss. Make sure that all lines up right. We're going to be fiddling around with this stuff a lot, so it's going to get kind of complicated going in and out of all of this, and I want to make sure everybody's on target. So we've done all that. If it's a hit, we've made our effects. We've passed damage back. We haven't passed the damage back and forth yet, have we? No, we haven't. If it's a hit, yeah, gosh. If it's a hit, we want attack target dot hit points minus equals temp damage. So it doesn't really matter where you put that so long as it's somewhere within the hit block and it's not inside of one of these other little events we're doing. I just put it below where we attach the shake. But yeah, we need to tell them to take damage too. We're still not going to kill anything in this video because again, that involves messing with the turn order. We'll get to that next video. Anyway, so if it's a hit, gosh, I'm way off target today. This is going to be a long video. I've got so many notes and stuff to go through. If it's a hit, we're going to do all of this. So we're going to make our effects, damage the enemy, do the shake. If it's a miss, we just do miss and whatever. In either case, we need to move on to the next state. So state equals end attack, and attack timer, we're going to set that to 10 again. All done in here. Cool. Let's green check out of here. Now, we should be able to go in here now and run this again and actually watch the effects and stuff pop up. That is, assuming I didn't have a huge error. Oh, actor step as long as switch must be after. What? What happened? Case attack. Switch attack type. Oh, gosh. I'm sorry, guys. I told you to paste that in the wrong place. All this stuff, we need to control X out of here entirely, and that needs to go up here. So before the switch statement. I'm really sorry about that, guys. I make mistakes too. I've got a whole bunch of notes, and that's just part of coding. Everybody makes silly mistakes. It's just how coding works sometimes. I'm really sorry about that. It's okay to make mistakes. It's a happy little cloud or whatever. So yeah, all this stuff for the attack roll and the damage roll comes before the switch statement. And then you go straight into case ranged, case melee. Let's green check out of here and here. Oh gosh, my mouse is acting up. I've got cats. I've got so much cat hair around. Sometimes it gets caught up. And my mouse gets funny because of it. Little optical laser beam. So go and attack and move around with whoever you can. We'll get Danny all the way over here. Now he can attack. Let's right click. Oh, boom. Hit for 13 damage. You got a crit. Cool. Let's move Rizzo. She won't be able to attack this round. She will attack next round. Just go ahead and keep going through the turn order. Make sure things are working pretty well. Move him here. And we'll attack again with Danny. A miss. Move him there. Attack with Rizzo. Miss. Okay, but the point is it's working. They're doing terribly on their attack rolls, but it's working. That's good. That's what we want. Now, we're going to do something else, because if you noticed, and I should have kept it open, I have to click right next to a guy and move all the way over to him, and then click on him again to attack. That's not a very good UI. If a guy is within range that you could move and attack him, we want to resolve this with only one click, and this is what makes this such a big video. This is why, one of the reasons why melee attacking is inherently more complicated with range. With range, we just sort of had a projectile in it. Oh, it's going to start here, and it's going to go there, and just zip, and it's pretty much fire and forget. There's a lot that goes into melee attacking. Let's open melee attack range again. We're going to add some more stuff to the top here. So range equals actor.move. So that's how far the actor can move and then attack. And actions equals actor.actions. So if the actor has the actions to move and attack, we're going to do a bunch of crazy stuff in here. So if we're right next to the target, we still want to color it red, and we still want to set the attack node as true. That's working great. If we're not right next to the target, we've got a bunch of crazy stuff to do in here. So if other.actions is greater than 1, so it has enough actions to move and attack, then node equals map grid X grid Y, and that's the node that this actor is standing on. Now what we want to do is, because you can't move into the enemy's square and attack, we need to check all of that node's neighbors and see if any of them are suitable candidates for our actor to move to and then attack. So for II equals 0, II less than ds list size node.neighbors, and then II plus equals 1. We're going to step through the entire neighbors list and check them all out. If neighbors.g is greater than 0, and neighbor dot, what am I doing? Gosh, I am messing this up already. So in here, hold on. The first thing we need to do is we need to declare neighbor, a variable neighbor. This is the neighbor we're currently checking. DSList find value node.neighbors neighbors II. Okay, so that's who we're currently working with. What am I doing? Gosh, just making all kinds of mistakes today, guys. I'm sorry. This is already gonna be a long video. It's gonna be even longer if I keep making mistakes. If neighbor.g is greater than 0. So remember, any node that's completely out of range will have a g-score of 0 because it's so far out of range we didn't even bother scoring it. So in order for it to qualify, it needs to have a g-score scored. So if it's got to be greater than 0, and neighbor.g is less than or equal to other.range. So it's scored, which means it's within range, and it's less than our single move range, so we can move there and attack. Then map grid x grid y dot attack node equals true, and map grid x grid x grid y dot color equals c underscore red. Okay, so that's all set up. Great. Now we need to add something else, because essentially we're going to right click a bad guy and we're going to move to them and then attack. So what we need to do is we need to set up a new variable so that our actors at the end of a path know what to do. In this case, we want them to attack, but in most cases, we just want them to go back to whatever it was they were doing like normal. So let's green check out of here. Now let's go into our actor, into its create event, and make this a little bit bigger. And down here where we've got these create variables related to pathing, we want to add in a new variable. So end path, which is what action to take at the end of the path. We'll set that to idle as a default. And we're going to need to set this, obviously, somewhere else. Let's green check out of here. And we're going to head over to the cursor. And we're going to be in and out of here because we need to do a lot of work. So the first thing we're going to do is, so currently, if we right-click a move node, we do all this stuff where we create a path. And it's really tedious. We don't want to type that more than once. And it's something that will obviously come up a few times. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab from create the priority queue, path equals ds priority create. We're going to grab all of this, all the way down to clean up path and ds priority destroy. We're going to hit Control X, get rid of it all. And let's green check out of here, and we're going to go and we're going to make a new script with all of that called create path. Oops, that doesn't go there. What am I doing? So Control V to paste all of that in there, and Shift Tab to get it all lined up right. So we're going to make this, and this is going to create the path for our character, just like we used to do in our cursor step event. We're going to declutter our step event by having this only here. So this is going to need a couple of arguments. So argument 0 is going to be equal to the actor we are creating the path for. And argument 1 is going to be equal to the destination node we want to end up at. The destination node we want to end up at. And obviously, doesn't really matter there, but it's good practice. Might as well fix that. So current, we're going to set this up with the same variables we used in the cursor node, so we don't have to fiddle with any of this. So current equals argument 1. And selected actor equals argument 0, and that will run just fine how we had it. So let's green check out of here, and we'll go back into our cursor step event. And now right here we've got this current equals hover node. We want to call that, so create path, and we want to pass it the selected actor and current because that's the node we want to end up at. We're going to use this later. Actually, later. We're going to use this right now down here. This case melee is about to become a great big complicated mess. Oh, gosh. I completely forgot something else. Selected actor.state begin path. This is one of the reasons we came in here in the first place. So we give it a path, we update all of its information, and then we tell it to start its path. We also need to tell it what to do when it gets to the end of that path. So selected actor.endPath equals ready. Okay. Now obviously here at the end of its path, it's going to begin attack. So this is going to become pretty complicated. Currently we do all of this stuff. I'm not sure how much of this. Well, we want to keep this. The can act equals false. And we want to set its attack target as well. So this can go away. Selected attack target. Okay. Leave that. Okay. So now what we need to do is we need to do the same thing that we checked when we set up the attack range initially. We need to check if a bad guy's already right next to us, we'll do one thing. And if it's not already right next to us, we've got to set up a path for it to move to get there. So temp x equals abs hover node dot grid x minus selected actor dot grid x. Temp y equals abs hover node dot grid y minus selected actor dot grid y. Okay. Now, if temp x is less than or equal to 1, and temp y is less than or equal to 1. So if it's right next to us, then we want selected actor dot actions minus equals 1. So only one action to attack it. Selected actor dot state equals begin attack. Selected actor dot attack timer is equal to 10, and selected actor, oops, we want to clean up our selected actor variable. Selected actor equals no one, and wipe the nodes. Really, we might as well clean all this stuff up too, because we're going to do something completely different down there. So if we're right next to the target, pretty much attack as usual. If we're not right next to the target, big fat else is coming. So now what we want to do is when we want to go through the node that the target is on, we want to go through its neighbors list, and we want to find the closest one, the easiest one for our actor to get to make the attack. So temp g is equal to 100, and current equals no one. This temp g is going to act, it's because we're going to go through all the neighbors around the node we want to attack, all of them. And we want to find the closest one to our actor, so that'll be the one with the lowest G score. So we're going to go through all of these. We're going to test which one has and essentially find which one is the closest to us. So for ii equals 0, ii is less than ds list size. This is going to be pretty familiar from the thing we just did. Hover node dot neighbors. ii plus equals 1. Temp node equals ds list find value. This will be the whichever node we're currently working with. Hover node dot neighbors. ii. And then if temp node dot occupant equals no one. So if there's no one standing in this node, because we can't send Danny to move up to Rizzo's square, obviously. And temp node dot g is less than the current temp g. Then we want to do temp g equals temp node dot g, and current equals temp node. So this will go through, and it will essentially, every time we find a G score lower than the one we're currently at, we'll update it. And when we're through with all this, we'll find which node is the closest and easiest for our actor to get to. That'll work great. Awesome. Okay, so now we need, hold on, we're still working within these squigglies, these L squigglies, but we want, when we're done with this for stuff. So, target node. This is the node we want to end up moving to. It's going to equal current. I should get this back into the center of the screen. Sorry. Okay, target node is equal to current. This is, again, the node we want to move to so that we can make our attack. And then we want to do create path with selected actor and target node. And now we need to update all of the actor's information because it'll go to all of that stuff. So really this stuff's pretty much the same as up here. In fact, yeah, we can do all of this. Let's just head up to the mouse button right, the move node. We want to grab everything from first, clear the node of selected actor, all the way down to selected actor.endPath equals ready. Control C to copy all of that. And then right down here after create path, we can Control V, paste that in there. Tab that over. That'll send our actor on their way. Except we want our end path to be begin attack. And now we need to, obviously we need to give it an attack target. So selected actor.attack target equals hover node dot occupant, whoever we're currently cursoring over. And regardless, selected actor dot actions, regardless of how far away this is, we want it to be minus equals 2 actions to move and attack, and then selected actor dot can act is going to be equal to false, and then finally selected actor, clear that out, equals no one, and we want to wipe the nodes again. Okay, now we need to do something in our actor's end path action so that it can make use of this end path variable that we've given it. So green check out of here. And gosh, this was kind of a mess to type. I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger. And I will just sort of like sit from here at the top to case melee. This is all of case melee, all the way down to there. If you guys have, just go ahead and pause if you need to catch up or whatever. I'm going to green check out of here. And we need to go into our actor, its end path. Now, currently we have all of this stuff that we're going to do, right? We clear the path, and then we've got all of this stuff. But really, all of this stuff, we don't really want to do that every single time. So, up here, clear the path regardless, and then right above where we change the state back to idle, if end path equals ready, we want to do all of this stuff. Give it a tab over, put another squiggly at the bottom, and if the end path isn't equal to ready, if it's something else, then we want it to do state equals end path. Whatever it is we told them to do at the end of the path, it's going to move on to that state and do it. For now, if we told it to attack, it will move and then attack. Okay, green check out of that. Now, we want to do something else in our actor right now. We've currently got a UI event on our draw. Let's go ahead and open our draw event up. Currently, if we're doing a ranged attack, we just draw a purple line between us and the enemy. We want to do the same thing if we're doing a melee attack too. So let's set all that up. Let me give myself lots of room to work with because we're going to need it. So we got our case range. Read that how it is. Case melee, colon, break. We want to do something else. Let's draw a line that will show the path that we'll take to move to the target and whack him. So temp x, sound familiar? Absolute value. Temp node.gridx minus gridx. Temp y equals absolute value. Temp node.grid y minus grid y. And then we want if temp x is less than or equal to 1 and temp y is less than or equal to 1. You guys know this by now, right? So if we're right next to them, we just want to draw a single line from our belly to their belly saying, hey, that guy. So draw line width and color. Remember, if you want this stuff to show up down here to remind you what you're doing, you've got to spell color with a British U. If you do it just color, for whatever reason, it doesn't show up. So, God save the queen, I suppose. X plus 16, our belly. y plus 16 to our enemy's belly. Temp node, because remember that's who we're currently hovering over, is stored in the temp node variable. Dot x plus 16. Whoa, not 126. That's too much. Temp node dot y plus 16. We want it to be a width of 4, and then our color is equal to c underscore purple. And c underscore purple. And you could do two different colors. I'm fairly certain it blends them. I'm not entirely sure how the two colors work here. I think it blends them. That's good for that. That only works if we're right next to them. If we're not right next to them, we need to do some complicated stuff. So, current equals no one. Temp G equals 100. And we're essentially going to do kind of the same thing that we just finished doing in the cursor right click event. We're going to get that same path. So, if, no, what am I doing? For II equals 0, II less than ds list size, temp node dot neighbors, oops, we need a colon here, II plus equals 1. Okay, now in here, same thing, step through all the neighbors. So neighbor equals ds list find value, temp node dot neighbors, II. Neighbors and neighbor, that's another one of those words that just sort of starts to become meaningless if you say it too many times. Neighbor, neighbor. I'm getting there just from doing this tutorial series. Just neighbor, neighbor, neighbor. If neighbor dot occupant is equal to no one, so there's no one standing there, and neighbor dot g is greater than 0, so we have scored it, and neighbor dot g is less than temp g. I suppose, now that I'm thinking about it here, another thing you could do here, instead of testing the g score here, you could check to see if it's a move node, and that would work too. At any rate, we need to update our temp g is going to equal neighbor dot g, update our current, it's going to equal neighbor. And again, this will go through, and every time it finds somebody closer to our actor than the current one we've set, it'll just reset it and keep going. Whoa. No thank you, Game Maker. I'm in the middle of something. Okay. Outside of this for statement, we want to draw a line, and this is going to be a big fat line of code. So, first we need to draw the final line. It'll go from the last node we're going to stand on to the target itself. So draw a line with color temp node dot x plus 16, temp node dot y plus 16, current dot x plus 16, current dot y plus 16, and then with the 4 and purple. And again, this will just draw from the last node, the node our character is actually going to stand on to make the attack, to the bad guy itself. And now we need to draw the rest of the line, which will be the actual path of travel. So while current.parent doesn't equal no one. And this is pretty much going to be the same as this bit up here. In fact, it's exactly the same. We're just changing the color. I'm not going to copy paste it though. My fingers are being rebellious. They need some exercise. So draw line with color. Current.x plus 16, current.y plus 16, current.parent.x plus 16, current.parent.y plus 16, and with the 4, c underscore purple, c underscore purple. And then we need to set our current equal current.parent. Remember, when you're messing with while loops, be really careful. Make sure you've got some way to escape out of it. Otherwise, it'll just lock up forever with the little spinny ball spinning, and you'll have to Control-Alt-Delete to kill the game. So this line is super important because it allows us to escape out of here. Okay, green check this, green check that. We should be able to run the game now, and everybody should be able to just move and attack. Now, see, Danny is within range. He can move all the way down here and attack this target. Let's do it. Whoa, something went wrong. It looks like Danny attacked himself, didn't it? Maybe I have another error. Let's move through this and let's just check it out. Now, Rizzo, she can't actually move and attack either target, so she's just going to have to double move to get to there. Danny attack again. Nothing happened. Huh. I think I messed something up, guys. Move here. Yeah. What have I done? What have I done? Wait a minute, what? What is going on? Yeah, Danny's attacking himself, and he's also in the wrong... Oh my gosh, What? What is going on? Okay, I've screwed something up hardcore. Whoa. So this is what goes on if you guys do not get your data right in a turn-based strategy game. It's very important to do all of that. So Danny has been hurting himself by attacking things. Okay. Let's double check. I'll bet there's something wrong with our cursor step event. And this is a long video. Oh my gosh. Hover node does. Okay, attack target equals hover node dot occupant. That's right. And map select actor. No one. Hover node dot occupant equals selected actor. Oh, no. This isn't correct at all. The hover node dot occupant equals selected actor? No. We want to go to wait, no. Control target node dot occupant equals selected actor. That's why he's essentially been he's moving to the right way on the path, but then so this is actually a really important lesson. This video is really long. I'm glad I got this error though, because again, I keep talking about like we're passing all this data around like crazy, and how turn-based strategy games, they thrive on this data. If you don't get this data right, something goes terribly wrong. What was occurring was that Danny was moving, like visually, his sprite was moving where we told it to on the path. Data-wise, right, it was going to, this was hover node dot occupant equals selected actor. So what's happened is, where the bad guy where we were clicking on, we were telling it, hey, this Danny is in that node, not the other guy. Get rid of the other guy. The other guy's sprite, his object's still standing there, but as far as our data, our map is concerned, that other target isn't even on the map anymore. It's just Danny, and Danny was in that square even though we wasn't drawing on that square. And then down here, when we told the selected actor attack target equals hover node dot occupant, we were having Danny attack himself. We were having Danny put himself in the enemy's space and then attack himself while the object was standing on the other square. So, I mean, I kind of go on about how, well, I guess I don't really, maybe I don't talk enough about how important all of this data is, because, like, I mean, those objects, they're just sort of occupying a space on the map, and it's all really represented within these nodes and this big array and everything, and it's super important. If you guys don't get this stuff right, you'll end up with an error like this. So, I mean, again, this is a long video already, and I feel like it's kind of been topsy-turvy and all over the place. It's not as well produced as most of my videos are, just because I've got so much information to go over, but I am really glad I had this error, because this is an opportunity to talk about how crazy this can get. So yeah, update selected actor's future node. We need to kill this part, and this needs to be target node dot occupant equals selected actor. Let's close this out, and let's open it back up, and this should fix it. Gosh, that was just a big mess, but yeah, super important. You guys get all your data right. Otherwise, you end up with who knows what. We'll move Rizzo down here, so she'll be able to attack next round. Have Sunny attack. There we go. Move over here. Then we'll have Danny get down here and attack this target. Bop. Okay, that looks like it worked. Great. We'll have Sandy attack. We'll do another round. Move her over here. We'll have Rizzo attack finally. Bop that guy. And I just wanted to move here. We'll have Sunny attack. Great. And we'll have Danny come over. Oh, God. Did he still screw that up? My God. I'm still screwing this up. Oh, my gosh, guys. What am I messing up in now? State. Begin path. End path attack. Hover node dot occupant. Attack target. Cool. Target node dot occupant. Selected actor. Target node equals current. Current equals no one. That target node equals current. We update all of that stuff. Clearing that out. That's fine. So, okay, so let's go through this line by line. I don't have my dinosaur. I normally do my rubber duck decoding with the dinosaur. So this is stepping through. We're getting everything. Gosh, you guys watching at home, you can probably see the air plain as day, can't you? You're screaming at your monitors. I'm sorry. Really sorry. We're going through all of our neighbors. We're getting the one closest to our actor. We're setting it to current. Current equals temp node. Okay. We're setting target node to current. Oh, gosh. Got to look through all my notes, too. Begin path, begin attack, hover node dot occupant, minus equals 2, can act equals false, target node dot occupant equals selected actor grid X, grid Y. Oh no, this is wrong too. Gosh, see, your data is super important. Target node dot grid X, target node dot grid Y. So what I was doing is we were still setting the targets grid X and grid Y to, and again, this is where it references itself as far as it's concerned within the data, within our map array. It was setting that to where the mouse was hovering over, which is the bad guy. Gosh, I shouldn't have copy-pasted that. I saw it in my notes. I didn't have it copy-pasted in my notes, but I was like, oh, it's the same thing. Let's just copy-paste it. It's not. It's super important. Green check. Oh, gosh. Super sorry, guys. I'm going to run this, and if it works, I'm going to go back to that page, and I'm just going to leave it open so you guys can go ahead and pause and make sure everything's right on your end. But yeah, your data is super important in a turn-based strategy game. It's how you reference everything. I mean, this object here, he's just here for show and to hold on to that object's kind of like attacks and variables and whatever. But it's that map array and this data that's super important. It looks like everything's running okay now. We'll get back to Danny and we'll see what happens. One more go. I'm going to have Danny move over here and attack him. Okay, so everything's finally working right. I'm going to open that back up. I'm very sorry. Again, this is just I'm already at 48 minutes. This is going to go a whole hour. And I figured it was going to take an hour when I started it. This is case melee is just right off screen here. Although this is actually all of it. So, yeah. Case melee. All of this stuff, go ahead and pause it and catch up. And remember, right under this selected actor, all we got to do is just wipe the nodes. But go ahead and pause it now. Make sure everything's lined up straight on your screen. Really, really, really sorry about that. I'm going to green check out of here and here. Okay, gosh, where did I even leave off? So everything's sort of working right. We can move and attack. We're going to give our characters a couple of special actions now. We're going to go to our rogue, Sandy, and we're going to give her some sneak attack damage. So she's going to have bonus damage if she's got a friend who's next to her target. She'll get an extra bit of damage. We're also going to give our warrior, Danny, a charge ability. And all this means that he's just going to be able to attack as a part of movement. So if you recall, like Rizzo is just out of range to be able to attack anybody. It's just a double move. We're going to let Danny even attack at the end of a double move. Make him special as a warrior. Make Sandy special as a rogue by getting her bonus damage. Let's go into our actor. I'm going to show you how to set stuff like this up. So actor create event. And let's go to this, right where we got this move and action variables. Let's put a new category of variable in here. So special action variables. And we'll have charge equals false and sneak attack equals false. And those are both of our defaults, right? Now let's green check out of here. Let's go into Sandy. And she doesn't have a move and action variable set, does she? Nope. So let's just put it after the... oh, she does. Move and action variables. Special action variables. We'll give her sneak attack equals true. And we'll have her sneak attack damage equals 6 for now. We'll update it later. Green check out of here. End there. And we're going to go into Danny. Do the same thing for that charge variable we just set up. So, move and action variables. Get you towards the center of the screen. Special action variables is charge equals true. Okay, now we need to fiddle with our melee attack range script that we made earlier to allow for the charge to happen. So, green check out of here, and give me just a second to take a sip of water. Ooh, really long. My poor mouth is dried up. We'll go to melee attack range, and right up here at top, where we do this range equals actor move. Ooh, and this is actually out of order. Actor actions. Let's cut this, put it here, and right before we do our range, we're going to do if actor.charge, open squiggly, close squiggly, else. So if the actor can't charge, we're going to resolve the range equals actor.move just like normal. And if actor.charge, we'll do range equals actor.move times actor.actions. Okay. Green check that. Now, we should be able to test the charge right now. Let's go ahead and run that and watch it happen. So, Danny will be able to charge. Oh, well, here's Sunny. We'll go first with that. Move him here. Now we got Danny. Danny can move all the way over here, even though it's all the way at the end of his movement. He can move all the way here and still attack. No, he can't. What went wrong? Oh my gosh. Guys, I'm so sorry. I am really screwing this up today, aren't I? That should have worked. I can't understand why that didn't work. There's got to be something wrong with our cursor step event problem. Oh, with our right click. Temp node occupant equals no one and temp node G. Ah, this is where the problem is. Okay. Right here. So if our occupant equals no one and temp node.g is greater than 0. I can't believe I left that out. Gosh. I'm even debating recording this again. On the one hand, it really is a good thing that I had those errors so you guys could see how wrong things can go if you guys aren't careful with your data. But on the other hand, I've just made so many mistakes. This video is going to be such a bore to sit through. Yeah, so temp node.occupant, make sure there's no one in the node. Make sure the node has been scored to move to, and make sure that the temp G is less than where we're going. So apparently, he was trying to move to a place he couldn't move. And here, let me run it and show you real quick. In fact, here, I'll visualize it for you. You guys don't have to do this. So we'll do draw text x plus 6, y plus 6, string G. Yeah, you guys don't have to do this. I'm just going to visualize something for you real quick. To fully explain to you what went wrong there. So currently, I've just real quick, real dirty, I've set it up so that all of these nodes are showing their G score. And as you can see, these ones that are out of range, they're all set to 0. So, who's this? Rizzo. We'll just move her wherever. Let's get to Danny. Oh, that's right. She moves really far. So this is 10. Well, it was just checking for the lowest one. Well, all of these are 0, but they also don't have a parent. And if they don't have parents, then you can't make a path. So when I clicked on him, they were like, oh, well, any of these, those are 0. Let's go to one of those. And you can't. So that's why it just blanked out. Now, when I click on this guy, Danny should move to him and attack. He missed. Come on, Danny. Trying to make sure something works. You could show off and hit. Our poor viewers at home, they want to see you hit things. There we go. Rizzo hit. Okay, close that. I'll go back into my node. And all I did to do that, in case you guys want to do this for your own debugging, is I just made it draw its G-score on its belly after it draws itself. So just draw text somewhere right about its belly, G-score. Clean that up. Now let's get that sneak attack going. So how sneak attack is going to work is the same way that sneak attack works in 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. So we're going to go into our step event. And let's go into where we make the attack roll, this part here. Now, how sneak attack works in 5th edition is if you have someone who's like a buddy and is next to, or doesn't even a buddy, just someone else who's hostile to your target standing next to your target, the idea is that they're distracted by that other thing right in their face, and you can get better hits on them because they're distracted. So it's really easy to set up. It'll be real quick. What we're going to do is we're going to make the attack roll, and then we're going to set something up right here in the middle. So apply sneak attack. We'll set that to false. So the default set is obviously not to apply sneak attack. So if sneak attack, so if the actor has the sneak attack ability, then what we want to do is a temp node equals map attack target dot grid x attack target dot grid y. So we're going to get the node that our target's standing on. We're going to go through all of that node's neighbors, and we're going to see if anybody is standing there who isn't on our target's side. So for II equals 0, II less than DS list size, temp node dot neighbors, II plus equals 1. Current, and this is going to be pretty much the same thing, ds list find value temp node dot neighbors II. Sound a little familiar so far, but so now we want to go and we want to check if this node has an occupant. So if current dot occupant doesn't equal no one, and then we want to check to see what side that occupant's on. If current dot occupant dot army doesn't equal attack target dot army, so it's on the other side. And currently we've only got a red team, the bad guys, and a blue team, us. But this way, if you want to add a green team, someone who doesn't like the blue team or the red team, the sneak attack would still work if you had a green guy next to a red guy and a blue guy was attacking. So apply sneak attack equals true. So if there's somebody standing anywhere around there, they'll get sneak attack damage. Now we need to actually apply the damage. So in our make the damage roll part, if it's not a miss, in here before we do the crit, we want if apply sneak attack, and then we'll do temp damage plus equals I random range, and then 1 to sneak attack damage. And that'll just add an extra dice to the damage roll. Now, we also want to double the sneak attack damage on a crit. So if the attack status is a crit, in here we want to do the same thing again. If apply sneak attack, whoa, it's too many. If apply sneak attack, we will temp damage plus equals I random range 1 to sneak attack damage. Okay, should be able to clear this out, and now we'll be able to we'll test Danny's charge, we'll test Sandy's sneak attack, all in one go. All right, let's get Danny all the way over here with his charge. Bop, Cool. It's Sandy's turn. We're going to have her attack this target. Now, her standard expected attack range is she rolls a d6, so that's 1 to 6, plus her dex, which is 3. So normally, her attack is between 4 and 9. Her sneak attack will be between 5 and 15. 10. Cool. So we know her sneak attack worked. I'm going to go through another round real quick. We'll move Rizzo down here. We'll have Sunny just attack whoever. And we're back at Daniel. I'll have him bop that guy again and move. We'll have Sandy attack again. 9. Well, it's within the expected range of both damage results, but I'm pretty positive it's working because the last one was pretty high. In fact, let's do one more round. Let's have Sandy attack. And you guys could just go round in circles testing this for a while just to make sure that things are working right. That happens sometimes in turn-based strategy. In fact, for one of my prototypes, I didn't even test it myself after a while. I built 2 AIs to essentially run around and shoot at each other so that I could just sit there and watch it because testing it got so tedious. I'd rather just watch the AI do it. It was also, if you're just watching the AI do it, it's easier to just watch and take notes yourself than play and take notes at the same time. We're going to attack Rizzo's buddy. 19. That's definitely a big hit. That was definitely a sneak attack critical hit, and it is well above even our normal sneak attack expected range. So pretty positive at this rate. Everything's working. Now, we do still have a problem, and we're going to address this next video. As you'll see, like I want Rizzo to attack this guy. Bop. Well, now I have to move her. Well, I don't want to move her. I want Rizzo here. I don't want to have to move her. So next video, we're going to apply a couple of UI bits. We're going to add some buttons. We're going to give both Rizzo and Sunny something neat to do. Like Sunny will have a magic missile barrage, and Sandy will have a bless spell to buff all of her allies. But we'll also give him a button to, like, I don't want to move. I'm done with my turn. So next video, we're going to take care of all of that. And I'm sorry this video drug on so long, and I'm sorry there were so many errors, but I'm really glad you guys got to see those errors, and I got to kind of explain them and talk about them. I'm going to beg for internet points. If you guys are enjoying the tutorial, be sure to like, subscribe, or follow me on Twitter at Sergeant Indy. And if you have any questions or comments or just want to say hello, feel free to leave a comment below. Thanks for watching.